Welcome back. In this video, we will go over the skull bones. The skull is composed of 8 cranial bones, which protect the brain, and 14 facial bones, which supports the eyes and provides an attachment site for the facial muscles. The cranium is divided into the calvaria, which is the skull cap right here. This is the skull cap, and the cranial base. The cranial base, it forms the anterior cranial fossa, the middle cranial fossa, and the posterior cranial fossa. Starting with the 8 cranial bones, first we have one frontal bone. This right here is the frontal bone. We have 2 parietal bones. This is the first one, and that is the second one. We have one occipital bone right here. We have 2 temporal bones, one on each side. This is the first temporal bone, and that is the second temporal bone. We have one sphenoid bone. See this part of the sphenoid bone, and on the other side, we can see the other end of the sphenoid bone. And one ethmoid bone. Right here, we can see the ethmoid bone. If we take the skull cap off, we can see the sphenoid bone, which is right here on this side. This entire bone is the sphenoid bone. We can also see part of the ethmoid bone, which is the bone that forms the roof of the nose. And right here, this is the ethmoid bone. Next to the lacrimal bone. This is the lacrimal bone. Let's go over the 8 cranial bones one more time. We have one frontal bone, 2 temporal bones, one on each side, 2 parietal bones, 1 occipital bone, 1 ethmoid bone in pink right here, and 1 sphenoid bone. We can see in blue the sphenoid bone right here. You can see it right here. This is the ethmoid bone in pink. So 1 ethmoid bone, 1 sphenoid bone, 2 temporal bones, 1 frontal bone, this is part of the orbit, 1 occipital bone, and 2 parietal bones. Moving to the 14 facial bones, first we have 2 nasal bones. So this is the first one right here, and this is the second one. We have 2 lacrimal bones. This right here is the lacrimal bone. This is the lacrimal fossa. On the other side, we have another lacrimal bone. This is the lacrimal fossa. 2 zygomatic bone. This right here is 1 zygomatic bone. So notice that this part belongs to the temporal bone. This right here is the zygomatic bone. Also, we have 2 inferior nasal conchae. So this right here is the inferior nasal conchae, 1 on each side. Moving to the vomer, we have 1 vomer, which is right here. Don't confuse this part, which is the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, with the vomer bone. The vomer bone forms the inferior part of the nasal septum, and the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone forms the superior part. And 2 maxilla, 1 mandible right here, and 2 palatine bones. We can see the 2 palatine bones on that view right here. These are the 2 palatine bones. This right here is the maxilla, and this is the mandible. The 2 maxilla and the 2 palatine bones, they form the hard palate, which we can see on that view. Let's repeat the 14 facial bones on this model. First, we have 2 nasal bones, 1 on each side. We have 2 lacrimal bones, 1 on each side. This right here is the lacrimal fossa. We have 2 zygomatic bones. This in red is 1 zygomatic bone, and the other one is located right here. We have 2 inferior nasal conchae in red. This right here is 1, and that is the other one. As we said, don't mix the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, which is this right here. This is part of the ethmoid bone, the bone in pink right here. The ethmoid bone is the bone also that forms the roof of the nose. one vomer bone, which is located right here, two maxilla, this is the first one, that is the other one mandible, and two palatine bones, which are right here, posterior to the maxilla. The maxilla and the palatine bones, they form the hard palate.